Where am I? Ah, there I am. Hello! Hello, all of you charmers. How are we doing tonight? Huh? And yes, let us practice safe hand-holding. Put a glove on it, even if it's a quickie wrap that's sticky. And hello, Shadow Killer. Hello! How are you doing? I hope you're feeling better. But yes, let's hold hands as we continue this journey of our life. Yes, where we left off is the next stage, so we pretty much adjusted everything. We have a crush on our childhood friend now. I'm sorry, are my sound alerts not working? Are my sound alerts not working? I was messing with them earlier. Hold on, chat. Let me figure out my sound alerts real quick. I definitely don't want you guys to use sound alerts and have them not working. I at least want to check. I want to make sure that they run right for you guys. So just give me 1 second. Alright, it says everything's okay. But let's just double check here. Let's just double check. And make sure that they work. I definitely want to add more alerts. I'm just not quite sure what to add. Oh, well, they're definitely not working. They are definitely not working. Oh, so something here is not right. Ooh, hold on. I think I know. But that's weird. The preview's fine, but the browser is not. That is very weird. Very weird. That might be something I have to play with later. So I guess in the meantime, we will not use sound alerts, maybe. That makes me a little sad, a little bit sad. Here. Let me just do one more thing here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I did not want to open that. No, thank you. That is so weird. I wonder if it had something to do with the... You heard the... Well, that was me testing it. That was me previewing it. For sure. Now, where is the place where I can plug this into my browser? It's been so long. Let's see. Yeah, it's something I'm gonna have to mess with later, which is weird because I was messing with this earlier and it worked. That is very weird. It is not working. Because it should be working. Ooh! Let me try something different, chat. Hold on. I have one more idea, and then I'll move on with the game. Let's open up our sound settings here. Because I think it had something to do with an update that I recently just had, and it does this every time. Where it just loves to... Let's make sure that everything is on my headphones here. And it should function. It should be all Gucci. Hopefully. If not, we'll just have to grin and bear it, and I will go in myself and fix it. My boobs aren't even working? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what the fuck? You're telling me that none of my redeems are working right now. You're telling me that none of my redeems are functioning. When I just tested these. And you're telling me that none of them are functioning the way they're supposed to be functioning. This is some bullshit. You can't boop the sheet. I'm gonna fix it. I'm fixing it. If I can't fix sound alerts, then I'm fixing this shit, because this is fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna fix it. Oh, fuck. Sorry. That's me opening up my Twitch. Do I really sound that annoying, though? Do I? I had no idea I sounded that annoying. I'm fixing it, I'm fixing it, I'm fixing it, I'm fixing it, I'm fixing it. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see if I can't figure this out. Alright. The boops were not working. Let's see. The boops, the boops, the boops. The boops. It should... There we go. There we go. Okay. It should function. It should function. If not... well, then I'm not sure. There should be one for just boobs. Now let's see, that's the emote wall. My emote wall's not even working, is it? No, I think it is. I think it's working. Why the fuck is nothing working? Unless... that is so weird. Maybe I screwed something up. It could be something to do with me. But let me just go in here. Paste. It should be the same shit. But yeah. Should be the same. Alright. Let's go back. Everything else should work as well. Let's see. Channel points. Everything else. Sound alerts, sound alerties. Well, sound alerties. Oh, good, that's working. Look. I'm just panicking, okay? Especially after I tested to make sure everything was alright, and then things are not fine after all. And it fucks me up. It fucks me up. It definitely fucks me up, that's for sure. Okay. Thing is, I don't know why. This stuff... There it fucking goes. There it fucking goes. Okay. It should work now. Alright. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did. Prayed to the, alert gods, I guess. But everything should work. Okay. Alright, now. Shall we get to it? But it now. Yeah! You can at least boop my forehead. I love that you can boop my forehead when I'm a scrungle, but then boop my nose, actually. Scuff life. Alright. Let's finally begin the game, shall we? Are we ready? Are we ready? Chat, are we ready? Boobles. Thank you for the boop, Shadow Killer. August ended. September began. It was time to go back to school. Lizzie groaned and complained the entire first week. She hated going to classes. Still, there were interesting things to do that couldn't be done anywhere else. You weren't sure how Cove felt about it. He was enrolled that year. That was like a sign Cove would be staying in Sunset Bird for a while. At school he was alright, but kept his distance from the other kids. From what you saw, anyway. Whenever he could, Cove stuck to you like glue. He didn't even mind that much what you did to pass the time, as long as it was together. Sometimes it was like things were exactly the same as when you first met. But other times, as you got older, you couldn't ignore how the feelings had changed in meaningful ways. That year, the divorce of Cove's parents was finalized. You overheard your parents talking about it, saying Cove's dad got full custody. At first, you worried that meant bad news. It had made Mr. Holden cry, apparently. Then you found out it meant Cove would keep living with his dad. He would stay with his mom for a few weeks of the year. Cove cried too, for different reasons, you thought. It seemed like Cove and his dad might move again, but Mr. Holden decided to stay after all. Mom asked him about it once. He said he didn't want to uproot Cove's life after a second time. Mr. Holden tried to get Cove to like Sunset Bird more. He kept encouraging his son to go out and see the place. Sometimes, Mr. Holden volunteered you to spend time with Cove. Stop. He seemed very confident that it was an effective strategy. I want to hang out with your son. What don't you understand? That I want to spend time with your son willingly. Goodness gracious. Cove never talked to anybody about what happened with his parents and withdrew whenever it was brought up. It was hard for him, yet nobody knew how to help. Eventually, Cove stopped crying on his own. You couldn't understand what had changed. He grew numb inside, but you'd hope you could help him feel better still, since even without the tears he looked sad. He's a broken man. I can fix him. Maybe one day he will say out loud what he felt inside. After that, felt like things had gone back to normal, except what was normal didn't stay the same. Years passed and suddenly you were in middle school. You weren't a kid anymore. You were 13 years old. That officially made you a teen, even if your sister didn't agree. What the fuck? Is she dumb? The toys and crayons that used to litter every free space in your room had been packed away somewhere, replaced with new hobbies. There were other changes too. Cove's cast got taken off. It was weird to see him without it initially. Underneath, the pink plaster ended up being a long, thin scar that snaked across his forearm. Cove's chest puffed out in pride when somebody drew attention to it. Ah, yeah. Battle scars. He also went through a major growth spurt. He was the tallest student in his class for 2 years in a row. Cove will probably hold that spot again next time. In class, people knew him for more than just being tall. He also stood out because of how well he did in gym and other athletic situations. Hey, Sorsha, how you doing? Over the years, he began opening up more too. You saw him talking amicably with other kids or neighbors from time to time. And the only kid that came to visit the neighborhood when you were little, Shiloh, well, he was gone. He and his mom moved back to the south because of her work, just 1 year after Cove came to Sunset Bird. It had been really upsetting when he left. Lizzie was inconsolable for weeks, but nobody talked about Shiloh anymore. It was a long time ago. You learned some heartbreaking things became less sad the further away they were, even if they never got any better. That was sad in its own way. Things at home were different too. You still lived in the same house and all that, but it wasn't how it was before. Ma dyed her hair purple, wanting something new, and liked it so much she kept dyeing it. You remember calling her mommy as a kid, but something like that seemed awkward nowadays. You were much too old for the word. Lizzie felt too mature for her nickname too. She insisted everyone calling her Elizabeth, so you did. Your mom soon gave her, "Hey, James Morningstar, what's up? How you doing? We're playing Our Life, a nice little cozy visual novel. This cold, rainy night, at least for me anyway." Your mom soon gave her permission to go to places other than the playground and shopping street, which she took advantage of. You rarely saw her around the old neighborhood. In fact, she hardly spent time with you the way that she did before. Elizabeth instead associated more and more with girls from school who were her own age. Maybe the difference between 13 and 15 was greater than the difference between 8 and 10. You started befriending new people yourself, like Derek Suarez. He didn't live in the neighborhood or go to the same school. What happened was his and Cove's dad struck up a business partnership a few months ago. Since then, Derek would pop up in the area now and then. It seemed Mr. Suarez was happy to let Derek tag along to his work, if Derek had the time for it. Without a doubt, everyone and everything around you had changed, in small and big ways. Yeah, too. It is an innocent novel, actually. It's a romantic visual novel about forging a relationship however you see fit with your childhood best friend. You can either choose for the relationship to be romantic, it could be platonic, it could be enemies to lovers. It's any way you want it to go, depending on the decisions that you make. And there are lots of routes, lots of options. It's a great game. It's a great game. If you like visual novels, definitely check it out. It's among one of the best. As time went by though, it was easy to settle into this new normal. Then, before you knew it, school was over, and summer vacation had come again. It was the first day of summer vacation. The sun was as hot as ever, but you were inside, away from its harsh rays. To be specific, you were... yes. Snuggled up in bed, or wide awake. Honestly, it kind of depends, but honestly, I'm an early bird. I'm definitely more of an early bird. You made sure to slather on a generous amount of sunscreen so you didn't get burnt. I freckle. You were looking in the mirror, studying the clothes you'd thrown on, when your bedroom door opened without warning. What the fuck? In the reflection, you saw Elizabeth raise an eyebrow. Oh god, she looks even bitchier grown up. Have you been staring at yourself this whole morning? My god, knock next time. She ignored that, crossing her arms over her chest with a disgruntled expression. Clearly, she hadn't come in just to see you. Your special boy is at the door, like he always is now. He brought some happy summer gift from Mr. Holden. Mom wants you to take it from him, say thanks or whatever. Is this blind? Yes, this is completely blind. You did not like the way she called him your special boy, but you knew by now that saying wouldn't stop her.
Come on.
Calm down already. Let's see. Right there. Really? That's great. I'm coming. Let's see. Okay, let's do that one. Elizabeth said nothing else and left, having done what was instructed of her. Now alone, he focused on the mirror once again. Let's see, you're very tall, no. Your reflection went over the whole length, you're pretty tall. I'm short, actually. The mountain, you're very short. I don't think, look, it's not that bad. I'm short, but I'm not like, I'm not tiny. Not itty bitty. Not that itty bitty. You could relate to Derek and how it felt to be smaller than people. What? Smaller than people thought you ought to be. Your shortness seemed even more drastic when compared to Cove, who was unusually tall. I like my height. It suited you well in your mind. Then you put on the finishing touches on your outfit, when ruminating on the situation, careless as they had been. Elizabeth's words piqued your curiosity. You planned on going over to see what Cove was up to today, so this worked in your favor. It was when you spotted your reflection that you realized you were smiling wide. You were looking forward to seeing him. You left your room, taking an easy time down the stairs. Tweet, tweet. Tweet, tweet. Caw, caw. Caw, caw. You spotted Mom first, reclining on the couch. She held a magazine in her hands, which she was perusing through. Morning, Mom. She looked up at your greeting, a smile instantly appearing on her face.
Thanks.
Good morning, Hibika. Thank you for coming down. Ma's at the door with Cove. He can't stay over today, unfortunately. Why don't you go and thank him before he leaves? You nodded and made your way to the front of the house. Just as she said, Ma was there making conversation. She must have heard you, because she looked over her shoulder. Oh my god, she really is dyeing her hair a lot. Oh, look who finally made it. Morning, sleepyhead. Ma reached forward, and you knew she was about to pat you on the head. She was taller than average for an adult woman, because she's a dummy mommy and all. So, at your height, you were absolutely tiny in her eyes. That type of small, affectionate change was nice. She placed the whole of her hand on the top of your head for a second before lifting it back up. You're the last one down today, you know that? Life isn't a race. Morning. I was kinda sorry about the wait. Life isn't a race. Funny. I don't think that excuse will work if you're late for anyone other than your own mother, though. With a small laugh, Ma stepped aside. Cove was just as you remembered, exactly how you came to know him to be. Ah, look at the boy. Look at the boy. He's so cute. Oh my god, is that an edible arrangement? Is that an edible arrangement? Bro. Bro. Okay, so how long of a dick sucking do you want? He leaned uncomfortably to the side in your doorway, as the longer strands of his hair idly drifted with the breeze. His features were pinched in embarrassment, and he shifted from one foot to another. He was holding what must be the much-talked-about gift. At first glance, you figured it must be a bouquet of flowers. Then you gave it a real look. No, instead, it was carefully cut fruit. It made a lot of sense that it was actually from Cove's dad. You had to suppress a laugh at this showing. You couldn't imagine how many folks buying that sort of thing for her own personal enjoyment. That kind of arrangement was built for presentation, likely to impress whoever was inevitably going to receive it. It seemed no matter how long he lived there, Mr. Holden would keep going out of his way to be neighborly, and Cove would always be roped into participating. At the sight of you, Cove smiled, but there was some nervousness to it. Hey. You smiled back. You couldn't help thinking about when you first met Cove, and how you became such good friends. Lately, though, you were starting to have difficult feelings for him. Hey, it's nice to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. His grip on the base of the gift tightened, and your heartbeat sped up. Even if neither of you spoken about it, both of you were aware something new was growing in your relationship. It was already shaping up to be another long summer. The best part was that the two of you had plenty of time to spend together and explore what was developing. His awkwardness over the task started to creep back in, so Cove nudged the gift closer to you, and he was ready to be relieved of it. Your hands brushed over his slightly when you took hold of the base. He flinched enough for you to know it was certainly that he noticed it happen. I think that was a sentence I just read. I didn't read it right, but it was read. You couldn't help but smile to yourself. And with that, the gift was accepted. I hope you and your family like this. It's a pretty good gift. I think so anyway. He smiled earnestly. Dad spent a lot of time picking out the best size and design. There were so many options to choose from. Oh, what cute. I'm trying not to be. Just thank my dad for all this. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's my face. Little wiggles, little wiggly smile. Look at it. It's so cute. It's so precious. Yeah. He's a precious boy. Look at that face. It's like a puppy. He's like a little puppy. Alright. Mr. Holden's behavior really was different from any other neighbor you'd ever had. Though after 5 years, you were used to his antics, and you'd since made up your mind on what your opinion was. He was sort of funny, he was pretty weird, you didn't like him, he was great. He was great and can't no, I'm not gonna say that, I'm a fucking teenager. Let's just say he's sort of funny. Sometimes that could be a good thing, and other times it was a bad thing. Your thoughts were quickly interrupted by a shout. There you are! You shared a confused look with Cove as one of you both stepped through the open door onto the burples, onto the neighborhood street. Didn't take long to locate the source of the noise. You spotted Derek, just a few yards down the road. He ran up to you. Let's see. I don't remember Derek. I can't remember Derek for the life of me. Let's see. You were happy at the sight of him. You were confused at the sight of him. You were just pleased at the sight of him. Confused. You hadn't expected to see Derek today, though you never really knew when he'd appear. I don't know you. After stopping a couple steps away, Derek hunched over to catch his breath. Then he looked up with a wide grin.
Hey.
Hey, guy and gal. I was just at your house, Cove, but no one was there. Should have figured you'd be at Hibika's place. Do you ever spend time in your own home, or are you always just there? Derek laughed at his own joke. He either didn't notice that it embarrassed Cove, or the embarrassment was what he was actually laughing at. Derek turned to you. He was going to say more when his eyes widened and he gasped. What's that? You followed his gaze, unsure. Then you realized what he meant. You were still holding the... You can't have my edible arrangement. This is my edible arrangement. I'm licking my lips right now. I can't wait to eat this fruit, especially the pineapple. I love pineapple. You can't have my pineapple flowers.
Nice.
No! You can't have any. It's mine. My fruit. I haven't even tried any yet. I haven't even tried any yet, dude. Derek pouted at your words, not hiding disappointment. Aww. Then he nodded his head as if to clear it. Anyway, that's right. I came here because I needed to say something big. He paused, possibly for effect. There's some other kid here in Sunset Bird. Cove was as surprised as you were by the news. Such a reaction made sense. No one around your age had moved here since Cove did 5 years ago. Were they their family? Maybe they were cutting through. Nuh-uh. The new kid was all by himself, just walking. Did you talk to him? Nope. I came to report the sighting right away. The kid had green hair, glasses, was pretty small, and seemed really upset about something. I hope he didn't leave. You blinked. Slowly, you looked over to your longtime neighbor. That sounds a lot like you, Cove, when you first got here anyway. Kinda does, doesn't it? Oh, kinda does, doesn't it? That's weird. He sounded almost fond, a small smile playing on his lips. Derek snickered good-naturedly. I can see that pretty well now that you say so. But what do you say? Let's go find Cove's lookalike. We should all meet him.
Sure.
I'll do it. Sure, I want to see who this person is. Derek grinned. Then he pointed down the street the way he came. Last I saw him, the mystery visitor was going this direction. Nothing else needed to be said. The three of you were off, with Derek leading the way. Derek brought you to the beach, and as a trio, you made your way down the shore to the old playground. You walked the familiar path in a comfortable silence. When you were almost there, you spotted the kid in question. His bright colors almost shone like a beacon beneath the rays of the sun. He scuffled around, kicking up sand as he paced. It was true. He certainly seemed upset, but you didn't think he was sad, like you had originally pictured. No, with his erratic movements and scrunched-up expression, he came off angry. You started to have doubts about this expedition. Maybe it'd be better if you left him alone and let him sort himself out. Derek didn't feel the same. He waved wildly, calling out to the boy. Hey, guy! Over here! Oh, God. Yeah, leave him alone. Holy cow. The kid whipped around, an impressive scowl carving deeper onto his face. His eyes were tired, but a strong, hostile energy still radiated from him.
What?
What? What is it? What do you want? The sharp tone made Derek flinch. He shifted on his feet. What's your name? Jeremy. Was that it?
No.
No, I'm Derek. That's Hibika and Cove. We were just walking around and saw you. We wanted to say hi. There aren't a lot of kids our age in the neighborhood. Yeah, so, it's cool to see someone else here. Strangely, Jeremy grew furious by your response. If steam could have rapped from a person's ears, it would have happened then. They did bring me somewhere stupid, of course. I knew it. What?
My parents.
My parents. They're the ones who brought me. I didn't walk to this town. Can you not figure that out on your own?
Right.
Right. My dad brings me the Sunset Bird, too. When he has to come for work and all that stuff, it's not that bad. That earned him a glare from Jeremy. Derek winced beneath it, glancing away. It was a struggle to remain friendly with this Jeremy guy. Is that Weevil from Is that Weevil from Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh my god, I was wondering. I was like, man, this guy looks familiar. Keep that little shit away from your decks. He's gonna put a fucking bug in there. I mean, I wouldn't want to come here for a real vacation. Probably either. That's an understatement. This doesn't count as a vacation. It's a waste of time. A chore. My parents' family is nearby, and we just had to come see them. Ugh. If they're your parents' family, doesn't that make them your family too?
I guess.
I guess. That's a pretty good reason to come by. Did you want to go somewhere else? No! Jeremy crossed his arms with a huff. He turned away. They should have gone by themselves, since they cared so much and left me home. But I'm not allowed to be by myself. It makes no sense. They're the ones who don't know how to do anything, and I'm the kid? Oh. Let's see. Calm down, Yavia. Who peed in your cereal this morning? Oh my god. I mean, we could comfort him. Or we could say, who peed in your cereal this morning? Jeremy's lip curled as his face contorted from anger to horror.
That's disgusting.
Why would you say something like that? It's disgusting!
Sheesh.
It's just an expression. He took a deep breath. He thought for one hopeful second that he was calming himself down. He was not. So what? You're putting it in people's heads. I don't want to have to think about it. And someone's brainless might decide it's a good idea and actually do it. Who would actually fucking do that? Like, never mind. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. I know what some people are into, and you know what? Never mind. Never mind. If people want to eat piss Cheerios, that is their prerogative, and I'm not gonna kink shame them. They can enjoy their water sports Krispies just fine, without me, you know, butting in. There's some real stupids out in the world, you know. You're all living proof of that. Hey! Well, not stupid. I'm smarter than you were, shut up! I'm just gonna tell him to shut up! You first! You turn the cove, lowering your voice. The two of you aren't that similar after all. Jeremy must have had a good hearing, though, because he caught the private exchange and scoffed.
Stupid.
Of course we're not similar. My eyebrows aren't stupid. Cove's cheeks flushed crimson at the insult. You couldn't be sure if it was out of embarrassment or anger. Maybe both. Come on. Oh my god. No, Cove's wavy eyebrows are so cool. How can you say that when you've got a bowl cut? Oh, the quips. The quips, the bowl cut. I have to comment on the bowl cut. Oh my god, oh my lord. I have to comment on the bowl cut. Yep, it's embarrassing and awful, but my parents made me. I won't have to have it when I'm older. I don't know what he's gonna do with those things. Except maybe shave them off. He probably should. Yeah, listen, there's nothing wrong. 1, there's nothing wrong with Cove's eyebrows. 2, you can always get them tweezed or threaded, even a little shaping, but you know what? His eyebrows are perfectly fine just the way they are. You can get a different haircut, however. I bet he'd look a lot less dumb with no eyebrows. Hey, you asshole. Crossed your arms over your chest, shook your head, patted Cove on the shoulder. You lunged. Just go fucking feral on this kid. I might grin, honestly. I might grin. Patted Cove on the shoulder. I don't think I want to lunge at the kid, but I really want to go feral right now. Let's do that one. Let's see. Cove gave you a watery look in exchange for the silent support. Trying to talk to the rude boy clearly wasn't gonna go anywhere. This bastard sounds like he's running late to the local MTG tourney. Maybe he should hit a shower before it's too late. Yeah, exactly. Nobody wants to smell like an anime convention. Wow, what is wrong with you? Instead of taking offense, Jeremy only parroted Derek's words in a nasally voice. Wow.
With you.
Oh my god, he did it for me. Wah, wah. This is dumb. Jeremy stuck out his tongue and skulked away, throwing more sand everywhere as he went. You watched him go, hunched over, till he became a speck in your vision. Good, because he's nothing more than a speck to me. Silence regained in its wake. The three of you tried to process what just happened. I can't believe it. What a mean kid. Oh, that's a fucking understatement. Derek wasn't kidding, and by the sound of those early complaints, the new boy Jeremy was going to be in the area for at least a little while this summer. Derek sighed in dismay. Plopping onto the ground, you followed, and Cove did shortly too. There wasn't much else to do. This sucks. I was hoping we could meet someone fun. Hang out, maybe? He shook his head. After a moment, he slowly turned to you with a hopeful expression. But, you know what would really improve the day? What? He didn't respond. Instead, he used a hand to point right at the fruit arrangement that you were still holding. You'd completely forgotten about it during the mini-drama that unfolded. You had gotten used to the wait. Dude, that fruit would be so warm by now. Glancing over the cove, you noticed he was eyeing the fruit. He must want some too. Why not? Let's eat. Derek perked up immediately at your words. He reached out for a skewer, hesitating slightly once he was inches away.
Are you sure?
Are you sure? He nodded. You nodded. With an eager grin, he plucked out a prime row of fruits. Cove grabbed one for himself after him. Only you were without a skewer of your own. Oh my god. I hate grapes. I hate grapes. I don't know. I don't like the way they burst in my mouth. I hate the way they burst in my mouth. Oh god, okay. Pineapple. I love pineapple. Yeah, and they look like little flowers. God, I want an edible arrangement. Oh, they're so overpriced, but god, when you get one, it's like, man, someone gave me an edible arrangement. This is so nice. Derek ate a pineapple skewer enthusiastically, finishing it within moments. This is amazing. It's not different than any other normal fruit. It's kind of worse. These have been out in the open with their skins off for a while. Yeah, I was about to say, it's warm as fuck outside. At least pineapple tastes okay when it's warm. Same thing with strawberries too, actually. Strawberries taste okay out in the sun. Sheesh. Hey, you two remember the Land Before Time? That fruit thing makes me think of it. The dinosaurs all liked the leaves that were shaped like stars. Tree stars. I love the Land Before Time. I loved it. Didn't love the sequels though. The original though, always a classic. Listen, I love me some Don Bluth films. I love me some All Dogs Go to Heaven. I love me... Oh god, what else did he make? Thumbelina. He made... God, let's see. All Dogs Go to Heaven, Thumbelina, Land Before Time. God, I'm drawing a blank on his films, but god, I love each and every one of them. Oh yeah, and that's right, he made a game too. He made a game. What was that called? It was completely animated. What the hell? What year is this set in? They're referencing tree stars. I mean, they could have watched Land Before Time at any point. They could have done it at any point. Any point at all. I mean, I think kids still watch, I think kids still watch old movies, even though they're out of date. Yeah, chomping on leaves looked so delicious when they did it, right? Right? It made me want to eat my fucking greens. Don Bluth had something with that. It made it look so fucking good. Oh, you know what? Like, my mom would feed me, like, marinated grape leaves. So they were grape leaves that were made for dolme, which is which is stuffed grape leaves. Dolme. It's a Middle Eastern hors d'oeuvre that's stuffed with like rice and other spices, and it's so good. How many lands of time were there again? You know what? I'm gonna look it up because there are too many. There are way too fucking many. Let's see, how many god, weren't there like 10 or something? Let's see, how many Land Before Time movies? How many are there? There are... 14 movies, it says. There are 14 movies. 14! Yes, 14! 14 fucking Land Before Time movies. That's right. You heard it here, folks. They were cashing in. God. But yes, it is tragic about what happened to Ducky's voice actor. I believe she was also the same voice actress for the child in, The Last Land Before Time was 2016. Yeah, you're right. It was. But yeah, it was tragic about what happened to Ducky's voice actress. She was the same as, I forget the girl's name in All Dogs Go to Heaven, but that was her last role, I believe, was in All Dogs Go to Heaven. They had already recorded her voice, so the voice actor for Charlie, who is the main character, actually had to, listen to her voice, and say his lines as he was giving them out. So she had already gone as he was giving his lines, and that's why you hear so much emotion, because it's absolutely real. It's tragic. It's tragic. I'm not gonna get into it though. It's pretty gruesome. If you want to look it up, it's available to be looked up. But I mean, if you really want me to talk about it, I can. Let's see. I love that movie. Eating leaves looks good. Should I worry about you? Do you think things taste better when they're shaped like stars? I love that movie. Me too. The three of you continued like this for the next few minutes. Eventually, that display was barren. Let me open my think back up again. It looked weird when devoid of fruit. What the fuck do you mean? It should just look like empty paper. Hey, we weren't supposed to eat all of it. Oh dear. It did help you make you... Yeah, it made me... I don't know. Eating pineapple always makes me feel better. Derek was right. It was so good you were already brightening up from the earlier drama. Hey, Hibika. Yeah? That's how I feel about it. The two of you met your eyes casually. As I'm barking. I'm sorry. He's just too hot. I can't stop barking. That was pretty cool, what you said back at that guy. Oh, thanks. I was just saying what I thought. Derek chimed in while in high spirits. You totally owned him. I don't know what his parents say, but it's good. At least somebody's around to tell him what's what. I don't know. I kind of feel bad. I think he gets kicked around all the time. Yeah. Derek then leaned back on his arms. He contemplated the sky with a content sigh. So, are you both ready for summer break? Isn't it already summer break? I think I'm pretty ready for that, bro. Let's see. How is someone supposed to be ready for break, yeah? Cool on you. Wish I could say the same. Feels like there's a lot to plan for. And what about you, Cove? Are you ready? I think that depends. Before you could say anything else, the light atmosphere was shattered. Hey, Hibika! You glanced over your shoulder to see your sister. She strode closer and closer, appearing none too pleased. I've been looking all over for you. Moss said you and Cove ran off with the thing Mr. Holden brought for us. Uh-oh. She leered over you with her arms folded. So, where is it? Well, it's gone. What do you mean, gone? You moved over to the side to face her completely. She zeroed in on the bouquet on your arms, which is now populated exclusively with skewers dripping in juice and tiny flecks of leftover fruit pieces. Her mouth dropped open, and the tone of her voice rose. Seriously, Hibika? What were you thinking? It was supposed to be for all of us at home. She glanced at Cove, who sat beside you, and continued mockingly. Even if you are the most important person in the household to the delivery boy, this was up to his dad. It seemed everyone was in a mood to tease you and Cove today. Within moments, Cove's cheeks flushed red. He picked at the hem of his shirt, suddenly finding it very interesting. He always became nervous when Elizabeth would strike at your relationship. Farum, hello! Land Before Time only has 2 movies as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, honestly, that's kind of how I feel about a lot of trilogies. Sometimes the 3rd movie just does not belong there, except on the days where it just kind of does. And Land Before Time is definitely one of those, except it has 14 fucking movies. Get over it. This morning's been kind of... We were hungry. It wasn't us. A seagull came down and ate it. Well, the morning's been kind of... We were hungry. We were hungry? Elizabeth narrowed her eyes. Not at all okay with that kind of response. Oh no. I think I hear the mean kid coming back. We better get out of here. Elizabeth blinked, confused, and looked around.
What?
What kid? I don't see anyone. Derek didn't bother explaining. He just launched to his feet and ran off. Cove hopped up too, gladly taking the opportunity to exit the situation. He followed after Derek, but he sent a look to you from over his shoulder. You turned to watch Elizabeth. She stared back, brow raised. Let's run. Without a word, you got to your feet and bolted down the beach. Unimpressed, Elizabeth rolled her eyes.
So immature.
They're so immature. She shook her head as she walked toward the house, not bothering whatsoever to follow. Meanwhile, the 3 of you made it back to the shoreline. Derek pumped his fist, grinning in triumph. We escaped, and shall live to see another day! Let's see, for now at least, Mom's gonna be so mad when Elizabeth tells the story. Oh well. You chuckled together, walking further down the beach side by side. You definitely wanted to stay outside a little while longer. You had gotten a bit of a scolding from your moms for not saving any of Mr. Holden's gift for Elizabeth, but you didn't get any real punishment for it. Instead, while you were out with the boys, Elizabeth returned home to share the news. The 3 of them went to go dessert on their own. Oh, my mic was muted. Whoops. Oh, I see what's happening. I keep hitting the hotkey for it. Apparently space is the hotkey. Alright. Staring at the phone. Your fingers drummed on the surface as you waited. Your gaze trained on the phone. You were waiting on a call all night, specifically from your cousin Leandra. You didn't want to miss it accidentally. Your uncle, aunt, and Lee used to live many hours away. Your families only saw each other a few times a year for big occasions. Oops. With school being out, you're positive she's gonna want to come over a lot. The 2 of you were the same age and got along well. She used to be really fond of Lizzie, well, Elizabeth too, but now that your sister had become allergic to interacting with her own family, it tended to just be you and Lee who spent time together. Let's see. Aha, hello, Zhao. The Puma arrives. Let's see. Ding. And I got a booble? And I got a booble. I got a booble. Let's see. She was your only friend who was a girl. But yeah, I feel like I would have a lot of girlfriends still. You definitely gravitated toward girls and befriended them pretty easily. Well, I mean... I mean, it's equal. It's equal. I befriend girls and guys. But honestly... But honestly, does it count if they're gay? They're always gay. Just girls and gays. What kind of gender someone was didn't seem to make any difference with who you got along with. I keep getting booples. Thank you for the booples. And the fooples. And the foomples. Then the shrill ringtone announced an incoming call. You jumped before grabbing the receiver and pressing it to your ear. She's her resident Sabika speaking. You were greeted by a distorted, high-pitched giggle. What? Why do you sound so weird? Mom answers the phone like that sometimes. It's supposed to be polite. You should go with hi. That is something a robot would say. There was static on the end, as if Lee was shifting wherever she was. So, can you believe school's actually over? I thought I'd never be done. Now we don't have to do any of that boring stuff, and we get to hang out whenever we want. Speaking of hanging out... Lee, can you wait a second? Let me just head to my room.
Oh yeah.
You got up from your seat at the counter. Luckily, the phone was wireless, so you didn't have to worry about any cords tying you down. Your mom's had a rule about not moving the phone unless a call was in progress, which is why you've been sat by its cradle waiting for Lee to call. Oh, good night, Livy. So sad to see you go. 2 weeks no L Corp. About to have an L. Lob Corp will return. I just need a little bit of a break from it. It's gonna be a fresh new run with all the information that we have, so I feel like it's gonna be a great run when I come back to it. Let's see. You thought that made... Yeah, that made sense. Because the phone has to charge. It was nice to keep everything in its proper place. But now that Lee had called, it was okay for you to go upstairs to your room and talk to her. You made your way up the stairs smiling. After you had arrived, you shut the bedroom door firmly behind you. You took a seat on your bed. Alright, I'm here. Cool. Hey, did you know the girl down the street from me has her own phone now? A cell phone! She doesn't have to wait for someone else to stop using it or anything. Wow, really? The thought of someone having a phone that was all their own seemed unbelievable to you. Okay, so we're definitely in a time period. Oh, this might be, honestly, this might be my time period. Am I starting a new game? For LobCorp, yes, but the thing about LobCorp is that when you start a new game, you retain all of the information that you learned about the abnormalities. So in a sense, it makes... it a little easier. But, I mean, that info is earned, so I would hope you would be able to keep it. Rasputin. I love that dance on Just Dance. Right? I wish I had one too, but my parents said I couldn't get my own phone until I'm more grown up. I wish they changed their mind. We could call each other every single day, and no one will be able to stop us. How great would that be? Really great. We could even stay up late, talking about whatever we want. Yeah, girl, until unlimited, but the minutes that you have to pay for. I don't know if anybody in this chat remembers having to pay for minutes. Lee sighed thoughtfully into the receiver. At least they said I could have it someday. Oh, at least they said I could have it someday. I can't wait. She sighed dramatically. I bet I'm not gonna get one until I'm all the way in college. Squeezing the phone between your shoulder and ear, you puffed your pillows and made yourself more comfy. It was strange to think of a time when normal school would be over, and you'd have to choose whether or not to go to college. School was such a big part of your life right now. Let's see. Worked best hard, average, I don't know. Everything kind of came easily. Let's see. I mean, I did work pretty hard. And enjoy having to pay your $500 phone bill, yeah. I would always get in trouble for racking up the minutes, but my parents had a plan where there was free minutes after a certain time, like at nighttime, or on the weekend. On the weekend, it was like free minutes, but then during the week, it wasn't. Like you had to pay. You felt a lot of pressure. You hoped to do as well this year. You were confident. Let's see. I'm pretty confident. Oh, thank you for head pats. Thank you so much. You definitely could keep the streak going. Yeah, I got this. You tried to sound engaged, but your mind had decided to go back to school despite the season. We knew you too well to be fooled.
What's that?
You sound spacey. What's up? Just thinking about school. Are you thinking about how we don't have to think about it because it's the summer? That's what I'm doing. I'm looking forward to going back. Let's make a petition. It's not that scary. I mean, school is school. No matter how much you wanted to enjoy your free time, the creeping dread of knowing that it'll come to an end was always there beside you. I get what you mean. Though, I guess school isn't all the way bad. You can do some good things there. You can just do more when school's out. Learning new things can be cool. Gym's pretty great. Cafeteria lunches are better. Let's see. Learning new things can be cool. I just wish everyone did okay with how they taught the things, not just some people.
Me too.
Me too. Let's see. Hang out with people, not in the neighborhood. If I didn't go to school, I'd never meet anybody new. No one really comes here. Uh-huh. Yeah. There are all sorts of sports stuff during gym. Oh yeah, it can be fun. Sometimes. Lucky. Mine's boring. But that was all. And that's pretty much everything good about school. Okay, point taken. Now, I decree the topic of school is officially closed. We have to talk about the summer first before we start plotting the rest of our lives. I've got some plans already. Ooh, tell me. Spill the tea, sis. I'm gonna visit my cousins. Of course. What's something you want to do? The first thing that comes to your head. I got some new art supplies, reading. I'm gonna catch up on, let's see. Art supplies! I can't wait to try them out. I can't wait to see what you make! You lean back in your bed, settling in, as you continue chatting with your friend. Even though it hadn't been long since you saw her, you'd be seeing her soon. You found plenty to talk about. For one, the events of the day, you sat up straighter. I was with Cove and Derek today, and we met a new kid. Alright, Shadow Killer, I hope you have a great night, okay, hun? Like, at your neighborhood? Mm-hmm. His parents are visiting family, so it sounds like he'll be around for a little while. I don't know how long. What was he like? I mean... He kept snapping when we all were trying to talk. Well, actually, we were the mean ones. Actually, I'll take responsibility for that one. We were the mean ones. Yes. But especially Cove. It was awful. I don't think I want to meet him. You want a boy to stay away before even meeting him? That's an unexpected twist. Your cousin was pretty popular with the boys who knew her. She seemed happy enough to have him around until they started to annoy her. Hey, who are you to talk? You practically give all of your attention to the boys, or maybe just One boy. I see how much you like Cove. Okay, you know what? Yeah. Leah laughed at your affirmation, deeply amused. Even though she couldn't see, you shook your head at her, grinning to yourself. There was a stomping noise approaching your room, heralding the arrival of your irritated older sister. She flung the door open, a frown etched on her face. How long are you going to hog the phone? Glancing at your watch, you realized your quick call had gone on much longer than anticipated. Elizabeth held out her hand, the other one lodged on her hip. She noticed the realization on your face. Time's up. Let's see. No, get out of my room. Alright, let's be happy about it. Okay, see you. Tell Elizabeth and your moms I said hi too. You barely pressed the end call button when Elizabeth whisked the handset from your fingers and began dialing someone new as she strode out of the room. Your mom's voice called from downstairs. Hey, has anyone seen the phone? I'm using it! With that, she shut the door behind you. Silence was left in the wake. That was one way to end your first day of summer break. Sometime later, it had gotten dark outside, and you laid in bed wide awake. Your window rattled all of a sudden, startling you badly. You flinched, staring over at it with furrowed brows. From your vantage point, you saw only the moon and an open sky. You were... curious? What had caused that noise? Cocking your head, you sat up and moved closer to the window. You wanted to get to the bottom of this. To your utter shock, your gaze was met by a familiar... Blah. It's Cove. It's Cove. Cove? You squinted. Yep, Cove was right outside your window. Your house is very angular, so some parts stuck out further than others, so theoretically, wouldn't be hard to climb around on. Still, just because somebody couldn't didn't mean you expected it ever to happen. To his credit, Cove was doing fine. His feet were braced against a section of the wall that jutted out, his arms flexing with the effort to keep him upright. He easily lifted a hand and waved at you from the other side of the glass. You hurriedly opened the window. Cove climbed over the ledge, releasing a breath once he was safely inside. What are you doing outside my window, boy? Ooh. Hi, Hibika. What's up, Romeo? Amazing, my dreams have come true. That's a little too thirsty, even for me. What's up, Romeo? I need to talk to you, and I couldn't wait till tomorrow. If I rang the doorbell, I know your moms would have answered, and they'd just make me go home. I didn't really want to explain why I was coming over anyway. I don't want to talk about it. Well, besides with you, I mean. That's why I did that. As unexpected as this was, you were touched. Cove felt like he could tell you what was wrong. I might have tried calling or something, except my dad was on the phone. Here, let me... Is this one? Let's see, or is it... Wait. Maybe this one. There we go. That's what I wanted. Here we go. Boop. Perfect. Cove suddenly looked very cross. Dad, he was talking to my mom. Still is, probably. You raised your eyebrows. Cove had eavesdropped on his parents' phone conversation? Let's see. I'm not gonna comment. There were other things to talk about. Are you going to stay with your mom for a while again? Every year, Cove was sent off to live with his mom for a few weeks. When it happened, varied. Sometimes he would go during winter break, but usually he went during the summer. Even though it was hard news when you found out he was leaving and you missed seeing him those weeks, you understood. To your surprise, however, he shook his head. That's what I thought too, but no. That's not what they were saying. My dad asked my mom to not have me leave this year. He said she could come stay with us here. You waited for him to continue. He didn't. The conversation abruptly dropped off. You couldn't help but stare at Cove. There was a complicated mix of expressions on his face. What did your mom say? She told him she'd come. I know she's coming soon, before school starts. Oh. You had heard Cove talk about his mom a lot over the years. He'd tell you about his past memories or what happened while he was visiting her. Still, it was one thing to hear about someone and another to actually meet them. Very soon you were going to see Cove's mom in person. You were taken aback by the news, so you could only imagine how Cove felt. You looked over at him. He was pacing across your room, his features pained with dread. Before, they'd barely stay in the same room long enough for us to have lunch. Now we're gonna be all together again, the three of us, after all this time? Just for a few weeks. I know I should probably be happy they can talk to each other now, but I'm still not. I'm just as confused and freaked out, and now I feel really bad for feeling this way. It's so... His fist tightened and his eyes became misty. I shouldn't keep getting like this. It's been a long time already, and I'm not a little kid. Though he wouldn't meet your eyes, you knew he was waiting for you to say something. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with feeling bad. The tense line of Cove's shoulders eased. Thanks. That makes me feel a little better. Like I'm not freaking out for no reason. Yeah. Feelings are okay to have. It's good. Feelings are definitely good to have. A momentary silence fell over the two of you. You marveled at how the day started. You had woken up eager for the summer vacation, but now things seemed so crazy. The mini debacle with Mr. Holden's gift, the newest addition to the neighborhood being so rude, and, as if all of that wasn't enough, now Cove's mom would be living with Cove and his dad again. Your whole life was kind of like that, it seemed. Complicated, and hard, and different. Why couldn't things just be better with time? Ebika? The sound of your name, said quietly, pulled you from your thoughts. Cove gazed at you, concerned.
Are you okay?
Let's see. I'm okay. I'm more worried about you, I think. Let's see, no. I'm okay. You knew some things were still good. Cove grinned reassuringly. It was small and delicate, but you knew it was genuine. Moonlight from the outside cast shadows across his face and lit up his eyes. They seemed to sparkle with his smile. Just like that. Just that one look brightened your mood somewhat. You know, I think I don't want to talk any more about this. He looked away, his lips thinning into a line, and rubbed at his arms. But I kinda don't want to go back home, either. Could I stay a little longer, just doing something else? He appeared equal parts hopeful and vulnerable. How could you possibly turn him away? Flashlight and some cards. You can stay tonight, but we shouldn't make a habit of this. Let's play some games. You tilted your head, waiting patiently for his answer. Yay! He loves games. I know this. I know Cove. Cove perked up at your response, a smile appearing on his face. He immediately took a seat on your bed, not afraid to get comfortable in your room. You felt a little better at the sight, somehow. You still had a lot of worries, but you were glad he was here. And not just tonight. You were glad he came into your life in the first place. That was a change you'd never want to undo. It felt totally natural to let him into your little world. That initial friendship had deepened so much over these past years, and you were certain there was room to get even closer. Literally closer. You joined Clove on your bed, taking a seat across from him. He smiled at you again, but you could tell this time it was half-hearted. He was still so easy to read. You have steak! I love steak! Steak good. Though he didn't want to talk about his mom and dad. He must be thinking about what happened and what's about to happen. Let's see. Smiled gently, put a hand on his shoulder. You hugged him. Nudged him with your foot. Not for free. Let's hug. You moved closer and wrapped your short arm. My arm. Just because I said I'm short doesn't mean I got fucking T-Rex arms, okay? God. You moved closer and wrapped your short arms around him as much as you could. It wasn't much, but you hoped the contact helped a little bit. Ko froze up, startled. After a moment, his arms came up and he returned your hug. The two of you remained like that for some time. He might have mumbled something to you, but it was too quiet to tell what it was. When you pulled back, his expression had softened into something more natural. Conversation was stilted and broken, often by silence at first. Then both of you were able to get into your usual candor. As your secret hangout session stretched on, you thought you truly wanted to keep having moments like this with him. You hoped a day would never come when life decided that the two of you would have to part ways, and you knew Ko felt the same. You opened your tired eyes, groaning as they adjusted to the bright light that was streaming through your window and warming your peachy skin. With a loud yawn, you rolled away from the sunlight and blinked a couple of times, clearing the sleep from your eyes, before realizing with a start that it was actually morning. You couldn't remember even falling asleep. Cove had crept through your window during the night, and the two of you spent time together, trying not to wake your parents. You must have fallen asleep while you were hanging out, but couldn't put your finger on exactly when. You wondered how late Cove had stayed before heading home, until your gaze landed on an instantly recognizable mop of pale green hair, and you bolted upright and gasped in surprise. He never left. He was still there. In the morning. Oh fuck. I don't think I want to scream. Let's freeze. Your muscles refused to move an inch, and your eyes widened as you stared at Cove's sleeping form in absolute shock. If your moms found out he had slept here the entire night, you would both be in big trouble. Realizing quickly that you need to get Cove out of here before your moms or Elizabeth walked in and found him, you willed your body to get a move on and swung your legs over the side of the bed. Can we, like, whisper? Can we, like, whisper in his ear? Cove, wake up! You whispered his name softly, but urgently, and his eyes snapped open. He woke with a start. You scrambled out of the way as he abruptly jumped to his feet before almost losing his balance and falling back down. He recovered just as quickly and faced you indignantly. What was that for? Shh! What? The situation dawned on him before he even finished the word. Cove blinked at you a couple times, his eyes growing in panic, as some thought he could only hear. What? As some thought that only he could hear settled in his mind. Oh my god, I fell asleep! You weren't exactly sure what to do as you watched Cove pace your room, looking around frantically. Cove stopped mid-step, and you wanted to ask what he had been searching for, but you guessed he wouldn't know the answer to that himself. Despite that, he hadn't calmed down completely. The atmosphere was still frazzled. Let's see, it's gonna be alright, we're gonna be in so much trouble, settle down. Cove nodded, his shoulders tensed as he fixed you with a firm stare with his turquoise eyes. Letting out a heavy sigh, he ran a hand through his hair in exasperation. He couldn't look at you again as he spoke. I'll see you later. You were confused about how all of this played out, but hoped that was true. Right. Bye, Cove. At that, you were suddenly wrapped up in an intense embrace. As panicked as he was, this seemed to be something he couldn't forget before leaving. Thanks again. You're a good friend, Hibika. A really good friend. He firmly whispered the words to the top of your shoulder. It made you feel tingly. But you were let go before you had a chance to respond, or even fully react. In a matter of seconds, he had climbed over your bed and opened the window. A cold breeze rolled off the ocean, fluttering through Cove's hair and filling your room with its salty scent. Cove fearlessly stepped out onto the ledge. Let's see. Wish them luck. Good luck. Be super careful. You weren't sure if he heard you or not, but he kept going along, one foot in front of the other with increasing speed, till his form disappeared out of sight. You stuck your head out the window as far as it could to try to keep watch. He walked the full length of the ledge before jumping down to the top of the garage, then lowering himself onto the fence. From there, he finally dropped down to the ground. You threw out a thumbs up at his successful climb. He ran off towards his house without stopping, disappearing behind the side of another building. You have to admit, you were pretty impressed at how doable he made that look. Cove always seemed to have a way of seeming so smooth without even meaning to. With a little sigh, you reclosed the window. Deciding there was nothing more you could do, you hopped off your bed and got ready to head downstairs for the day. Made my bed. I just left. Put on my slippers. Let's make the bed. It's a habit of yours.
But I knew.
Oh my god, that fucking scared the piss out of me. But I knew. It's super loud now. You straightened up your sheets, smoothed over your comforter, and fluffed your pillows before stepping back and admiring your work. You took to the stairs, slowly attempting to mask your face in a look of innocence. You were sure that someone had come into your room if they had heard anything strange, but you couldn't be too careful. Had to play cool. Gotta be sneaky, Charlie. Gotta be sneaky. Yeah, sneaky. Sneaky. When you stepped into the living room, Elizabeth was there, tapping her finger on the counter. Good morning, Elizabeth. She looked you over immediately, her eyes squinting at the greeting. Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. Your big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately. You turned and offered a tight smile, and her lips pursed together even tighter. Hibika. We got her. You excitedly folded. Clammed up, he shrugged it off. Let's just shrug it off. Gotta play cool. Cool, remember? Cool. You spoke so nonchalantly. You almost thought she believed you. But you knew better. Damn it! Further suspicious squinting occurred as she was waiting for... something. But ultimately, she rolled her eyes, and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Whatever. And then, she walked straight out the front door, letting it slam shut behind her, and you let out a brief sigh. Elizabeth went out most days to hang out with her friends from school around town. Today, you were extra glad for it. Though, you were also grateful she hadn't left the house any sooner and risked running in the cove. Looked like you were getting away with that. Breakfast was eaten in peace and alone. Your moms were both out by the time you had gotten up. They had left you a serving of food from the breakfast they made, hash browns, an omelet, fruit salad, and there were a few sausage links. That sounds delicious. Took a little bit of everything, passed on some parts. Bit of everything, but it's kind of nice there's a vegetarian option. It was tasty. You appreciated that there was a variety in the meals that your moms made. The day lazily drifted by. The day lazily drifted by home, and eventually your parents returned. You pulled open the fridge again, lingering in the frosty air for a moment or two before grabbing a bottle of ice-cold water and taking a long drink. It was perfect, balmy summer afternoon, and you decided to head outdoors and find something to do. You hadn't decided on what something was just yet, but you were sure something would pop up to occupy your time. As you were heading out the front door, you paused for a moment. You hadn't seen Cove since he had left that morning, but you couldn't help but think about what happened to him. Would it be bad to go over to his house right now, or to call him to check in? You stepped out of your house, still stuck in an internal debate with yourself, when a voice caught your attention. Hi! Confused, you looked over to where an unrecognizable woman was waving at you, a friendly smile plastered on her face. You racked your memory for where you might have seen her before, but nothing came to mind. Not your school, not from the country club your moms took you to. You had absolutely no idea who the woman was. The woman crossed the road toward you, and you were a little unsure whether you should stay put or go back into the house and lock the door. You know what? On one hand, I don't blame you for wanting to go back into the house. Woof! 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 It was all me. It was all me. At the same time, I don't blame her for wanting to go back into the house. But on the other hand, she looked kind of freaky, and I like it. Oops. I'm sorry. Was that presumptuous? I've heard about you, but you have no idea who I am, do ya? Oh my god, are you Cove's mom? Oh my god! It's his fucking mom! You shook your head and she removed her sunglasses to reveal sparkly ocean blue eyes. All of a sudden, she seemed a little more familiar. The Cove visual novel. Yes. It is the visual novel. My son lives here, and my ex too. Why would you say that? With a bent smile, she lifted a hand to point to the condo across the street from her own house. She was Cove's mom. No shit. No shit. Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry. Literally, mommy. You didn't know why you hadn't realized sooner, now that you had gotten a good look at her. She seemed nice, she seemed sort of strange, she looked really young. It made sense that she was... yeah, we'll go with this one. They had the same eyes and other physical traits in common. No matter your thoughts on her, you still feel taken aback that she had appeared here so suddenly. Cove mentioned she was coming, but you hadn't gotten the impression it would be the very next day. She extended a hand again, this time for you to take, and you studied the manicured fingers in front of your face and the assortment of bracelets that dangled from her wrist. Oh my god, her name is Kyra. Are you kidding me? What? I feel like I should give her the Valley Girl voice. Should I just give her another Valley Girl voice? Or should I, like... I'm trying to figure out a voice for her. Because she definitely looks like she's like Silicon Valley bullshit. I'm Kyra Priest. You can call me Kyra. Maybe I should make it so Valley Girl that it's unintelligible. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it so Valley Girl, you can't even understand what she's saying. Watch this. Okay, yeah, we'll be nice. You reached out and took her hand, and she shook yours firmly, grinning wide. I'm Hibika, but you already know that. Oh, she sounds normal. That I do. Oh my god, bestie! That I do. Coast mentioned you the day before. It's nice to finally meet you, Hibika. Oh my god, I haven't used this since like I did a Doki Doki Literature Club playthrough with some friends. Cove talked about you to his mom. He hadn't mentioned how he said things about you to her. What has Cove said about me? Nice to meet you too. She smiled at you fondly. Why is she giving me the fucking eyes right now, though? Her eyes crinkling at the corners. Oh god. The sound of the door opening and closing caught both of your attentions, and when you turned towards the sound, it was to find Cove exiting his house, his eyes skimming the ground. Considering just how tall he had grown, you kind of figured his mom also would be tall, but she was much more on the short side. For an adult, anyway. Cove's height must have come from his father. My baby! My baby! My baby! There you are! I thought you were gonna keep me standing here all day. You tried to catch Cove's eye as he walked towards you, but his gaze was firmly fixed on the sidewalk. When he finally crossed the road and looked up, he gave you a pitiful look. After the way he had acted last night, you knew he must be feeling pretty mixed up about this. You tried to wordlessly express that you understood. Cove and I are heading into town to grab something to eat while the snore is at work. Kyra beamed at Cove and ruffled his hair, which only seemed to upset him more. You assumed the snore that she was talking about was Mr. Holden. Hey, you should come with us, Hibika. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, you should come. There's a pleading in this. Yeah, you should come. Sorry. There was a pleading in his tone that you couldn't miss. Of course we'll run it by your parents first. The responsibility and all that. It'll give me an excuse to meet them, which I need to do at some point. It's important to be neighborly if I'm gonna be roosting on the street for the time being. Any woozies? Let's go. Kyra walked ahead to your house, and you hung back with Cove, who crinkled his nose as he watched her. I bet she smells like Bath and Body Works, like Coconut Beach. That's the vibe I'm getting. I'm sorry about her, but I really do want you to come. I don't want it to be just the two of us. Not right now. You leaned in closer and whispered while checking around for anyone who might hear. What happened? Did your dad know you were gone? Cove shook his head and sighed heavily. Dad was so focused on Mom showing up that he didn't even notice. I thought when I heard him on the phone last night that it was something they were planning for the future. This morning, Dad said it was supposed to be a surprise, and I guess I was surprised. She's gonna be here all summer. Oh. You were surprised to hear that too? Cove sighed again, even heavier. I'll go with you, if you really want me to. He smiled, his shoulders relaxing a little in relief. Thanks, that'd be cool. The two of you headed over to where Cove's mom had just knocked on the front door and stood behind her. Oh god, even my mom is like, what the fuck is this floozy doing on my front porch? Mom answered the door after a minute, her eyes lifting in surprise at the group she found in front of her. Realized that, like you, she would have no idea it was Cove's mom who was hanging with you. However, after blinking at the woman a couple times and looking between her and Cove, the realization had come to strike on her. Hello there. I'm Pamela. I see you've met my kid, and I'm guessing you already know Cove for a while. Kyra laughed, and you and Cove exchanged looks at your parents' weird sense of humor. I'm Kyra Price, Cove's mom. It's so nice to meet you. A head of purple-brown hair caught your eyes as Mom... You know what? She kind of reminds me of my mom, because my mom kept on coloring her hair. She always colored it like a red or a purple. Let's see. Mom popped up behind Mom, squeezing herself in beside her. We have company, and I was wondering what all the commotion was. She grinned excitedly at Kyra. The two of them introduced themselves and shook hands.
Hello.
Hi, Hibika. Cove? Cove smiled at Ma shyly, and she gestured a hand toward the living room. There's no use hanging around in the doorway. Why don't you come in? I'd love to, but I promised to take my son out to eat, and I wouldn't want to hold you up with a surprise visit. Aw, I understand. You're welcome to stop by anytime.
Of course.
I'll take you up on the offer when I can. Count on it. Would you mind too much if Hibika went with KODOMOi? My treat. We won't be driving, just a quick walk down the road. Sure, that sounds nice.
Have fun.
I hope you all have fun. You gave your moms a look and they smiled at you fondly. Yeah, okay. You could tell that Cove really needed the support, and you were ready to be there for him.
Marvelous.
Marvelous! Expect us back in an hour or two. We look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Your parents waved goodbye to the three of you as you backed up onto the street. There was the sound of the front door closing behind you. I'm pretty positive I saw some restaurants when I was in the taxi, not too far from here. Hey, Game Crazy! Thank you for the lurk! Yeah, it's a tourist town, isn't it? There's lots of them around. It's kind of strange to see Cove give someone this much attitude. If he wasn't in the mood to be nice, he generally just kept to himself. Kyra put his hands on her hips and smiled at her son. Well, you sound like the area expert. Do you have any recommendations for a place nearby? Not really. Kyra pouted at him and turned to you instead. How about you, Hibika? Wanna point me in the right direction? You know what? Not really. Yeah. Sure. You've been to a lot of places in town, and there was a couple that stood out from all the rest. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorite. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. Both sound like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us, since Cove is going through a phase over there. He huffed at her and turned his face away. Let's go to... Honestly, I love Chinese food. I love Chinese food so much. It's my fave. Right next to Japanese food. Thank you, Hibika. Will you show us the way? You nodded, taking the lead of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the three of you left the neighborhood behind. The walk was about 15 minutes, and along the way, Kyra asked a lot of questions about the area. Cove was quiet most of the time, so you ended up answering her instead. Kyra explained that she lived in a large city, and she loved how peaceful and relaxing everything seemed in Sunset Bird. The restaurant was busy as usual, but luckily, you were shown right to a small table. Kyra lowered herself into the chair while Cove picked the one diagonal to her, not facing her, or to the side. It was awkward. Let's see. To start, what would you all like to drink? I'll get an orange soda. You know what? Yes. Which flavor? Oh, Jesus. Lemonade! Lemonade. Sure. Kyra placed the order for your drinks, getting a black hot coffee for herself, and it didn't take long before they were brought to the table. You're getting coffee at a Chinese place? You took a long sip of your drink as you looked around the restaurant. Your small group checked over the menus, and you decided to order the usual thing. You had been to this restaurant many times, so you knew what was good and what wasn't already. Kyra and Cove didn't need any encouragement for this. They were totally focused on the information in front of them. Soon, the meals too were ordered and the menus taken away. You glance at the table surface, waiting to figure out what to say. Cove sunk back further into his seat and avoided eye contact. He started to twiddle his thumbs while acting like it was all perfectly normal. His sour feelings today were inignorable. Instead of asking more open questions he'd brush off, Kyra had mercy on her son, and instead put her focus toward you. So, Hippica, what's a few things that you're into? There's gotta be something you do for fun. Especially now that you're not buried in school assignments. I like to watch. Games are fun. I'm really into Cove. Oh my god. I spend time on art, music. I like to read. I like to watch. I spend time on art. I create digitally. My computer at home doesn't really have all the programs I need. I like drawing. I filled out a lot of sketchbooks. Ooh, excuse me. Let's see. I go to the beach and let's see. I write things. I spend time studying. I go to the beach and I walk along the shore. That's a nice way to relax. I hope to be able to spend time on the shore while I'm here myself. And let's see. You have to. I'm really in the cove. I wonder what would happen if I say that. I'm really in the cove. Carol let out a sudden laugh and Cove gasped beside you. It was dramatic enough to inhale that he almost choked on the soda. You shrugged at the reaction. It was a truthful answer to the question. Hippie. Cove whispered at you disapprovingly, obscuring the part of his face with a hand, but Kyra only waved him off and encouraged you to go on. We spend time together when we can. I like it. Well, we have something in common. You're also crushing on your son? Hello, police? Kyra smiled at Cove, who didn't look too impressed by either of you at that moment. Let's do... hang out with people. It's nice to have friends and family to spend time with. Let's see. Studying in the summer? I have to admit I don't... Okay, so... what kind of games? Video games. No, and... yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all. Thanks! I'm happy to learn more about you. There's so much I hadn't heard. Cove leaves the details out. So what exactly did Cove say about me? Kyra laughed, holding a hand out in front of her mouth. I can't tell you that. I didn't come all this way to embarrass my son too much. Kids are delicate at that age. She laughed again and you glanced at Cove to see his reaction. He was trying not to pay attention, but you could tell he was uncomfortable. Hoping it would clear some of the tension in the air, you decided to ask Kyra a few questions of your own. Cove hadn't told you much about her, and you were curious to know more about this woman who was such a big part of his life. What exactly do you do for work? I'm a travel writer for magazines and things. I keep people in the loop on what's worth saying. It's good work. Wow. Are you in a new relationship? Why did you and Holden get divorced? Oh my god. What do you like to do? Spend time with my little boy, of course, and traveling. A real shock, huh? Nevada. Have you ever been there? Oh, that explains a lot. You shook your head. It's a beautiful place. Check it out if you can. Kara brushed the question off lightly. That's grown-up stuff. You should enjoy your youth while you can, without having to worry about all that. Cove sipped his soda angrily. Oh my god, I pissed him off? You weren't sure if coming along had ended up making lunch better or worse. Oh god. I want to flick the wrapper at him. You hit Cove on the nose. You had to bite down on your lip to keep from laughing. It took a couple moments, but finally he cracked a smile, and that made you feel a little lighter inside.
Very cute.
You two seem really cute together. Cove covered his face with his hands and leaned back in his seat.
Seriously?
Ugh, Mom! Why would you say that? Thanks, very cute. Blush. Were the two of you really cute together? Your meals were delivered shortly after, and everything was so delicious. Even Cove enjoyed his food.
Okay.
Alright, now that we're all full and content, can you explain, please, why you have had a bug up your butt all day? Cove's face grunted at that. Seriously, baby. What did Mom do to make you this mad? I haven't even been around a full day yet. He gripped the edge of the table, refusing to make eye contact. The words he spoke were barely audible over the din of the restaurant. You could have told me. She leaned forward to not miss anything else, eyebrows raised. Told you what? He finally seemed to find his voice and spoke through the thoughts that had been on his mind. That I wasn't gonna visit you this year, that you were gonna be coming instead. Didn't you invite me? You wanted me to be here with you? Cove's eyes began to shake. His frustration ebbed. I do want you to be around, but I didn't know it'd be like this. It's not the same, and nobody said anything.
I see.
Oh yeah, she said it. Her expression grew tense. She threaded her fingers together and placed her hands in front of her on the table. We've both been gifted another Clifford surprise. Referring that as a Clifford surprise almost caused you both and Cove to crack a smile. You also had no idea his name wasn't just Cliff. Over 5 years, no one had ever called him Clifford until now. Oh my god. Like Clifford, the big red dog. I thought it was a phrase that meant a surprise. Like how Clifford the big red dog started out as a tiny puppy and then grew into like a huge doggy and nobody expected it. I thought it was a saying. She smoothed her hair out, not letting go of her stern look. Yes. I thought they were talking about Clifford the big red dog. Like, oh, look at this tiny puppy. Holy fuck, he's huge. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They let out identical sighs, but smiled weakly at one another afterwards. I can go home, Cove. We can still set up a normal trip to my place before the summer ends. Cove's lips tightened closely together. He seriously pondered the option. I think I do want you to stay. I miss it when you're not there. My heart! She reached across the gap, grabbed his face, and planted a kiss on his cheek. Cove tried to wiggle away. Mom, stop! Sorry, sweet young men need to be smooched by their parents. Even if I don't, they'll take away my mom license. Kyra was completely enthused by Cove's admission, though a tone of seriousness did return to her voice when the conversation continued. Do you want to talk to your dad too? No! Oh my god, the intensity! Cove had snapped the word instantly, but reeled his annoyance back in just as quickly. Maybe later. Not today.
It's alright.
I understand. We can shelve it. Thanks, Mom. Thank you for talking to me, little mister. She grinned affectionately at him before turning your way. And thank you, Hibika. Huh? What did I do? It's easy to act like a baby with your mom. It's harder to keep that up with your neighbor watching everything. Especially when you really care about what said neighbor thinks of you. She winked. Mom! She ruffled his hair with a laugh, then moved her hand down to tap the end of his nose. Boop! And that was how the issue was resolved, by a single boop between Cove and his mom. When the three of you left the restaurant and Kyra had paid the bill, you walked back to your neighborhood slowly. You had eaten so much by that time you were beginning to feel sleepy. Didn't help that the lunch happened late and the sun was already beginning to descend from the sky. But eventually you reached your street. Someone was there to greet your group upon arrival. Cove's dad. Welcome back, family. And Hibika, too. Cliff. Dad. Oh! He's getting the cold shoulder. Oh! The two walked past him into the condo without sparing another word. Despite the summer heat, their shoulders were cold. Ah! Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. He rubbed the back of his neck with a crooked smile, but his eyes were soft as he looked on after them. He's so much like his mom, don't you think? He gave a vague nod, not sure what he was expecting you to do. He nodded back far more energetically. Okay, have a nice night. You too, Mr. Holden. With that, Cove's dad disappeared to join the others inside. It was your turn to go home now. Summer hadn't started off at all how you imagined it would have. Though, it turned out to set the tone well. Having Kyra in the neighborhood was a new experience, for not only you and Cove, but also both your families, and the dull moment was rarely had. Alrighty. We are finally on this part. Alright. Wave, family dinner, road trip. Growing. I kind of want to do growing. Early one afternoon, you found yourself in the living room with your family. It was another one of those summer days where it felt too hot to go outside, but it was too uncomfortable to do anything else inside. The air conditioning was cranked up as far as you could negotiate it, but everyone was still pretty lazy. You, your moms, and sister were lounging around while the TV blared on in the backdrop, ignored by all of you. You specifically were lying spread eagle on the carpet, sitting cross-legged on the floor, perched on the arm of the yes, this answer right here. Oh my god. Elizabeth had claimed the entire couch for herself. It was too hot to argue over space, so you didn't bother. Elizabeth broke the silence with a loud groan. You glanced over. She was lying on her back over the couch, massaging her calf with one hand. I feel terrible. I'm dying in this house, and my legs hurt. Mom looked up from the magazine she'd barely begun flipping through and frowned, concerned. Could you have strained them somehow? Elizabeth flailed briefly and flopped onto her side with a heavy sigh. I don't know. It just hurts.
Sweetie.
Oh, sweetheart. Ma got up from her seat at the kitchen table and walked over to your sister. She did a light pat on Elizabeth's shoulder sympathetically. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. Maybe it's growing pains. You could be taller by next fall. Elizabeth scoffed. She didn't look impressed by Ma's assessment. I'd rather be my height forever than deal with this. Mom walked over too, leaning against the back of the couch. Kids, they grow up so fast. Soon Elizabeth will have a home of her own, maybe with a nice husband and some kids if she feels like it. She sniffled loudly and wiped at her eye, but you could tell that was just a bit. You tilted your head. Even though you knew Elizabeth liked guys, it was hard to imagine her with a boyfriend or a husband. Damn. She only seemed invested in hanging out with her group of friends, not chasing after boys. Mom must agree with you because she shook her head.
No.
Let's not exaggerate. She's still practically a child. But if you ever do pursue romance, Elizabeth, you can come talk to me about it. Definitely. We're always willing to lend an ear. Elizabeth's feature contorted in disgust. No way! I'm not talking to my moms about that. Mom's jaw dropped, and she gasped in an exaggerated display of shock. Her hand came up to rest against her chest. Ma only grinned. She didn't look offended by Elizabeth's quick response at all. It really wouldn't be so bad to come to us. I know what it's like to have a crush on a pretty boy or two. But look where you ended up. Mom! Mom, you're gay! I don't, but I can listen anyway. She's like, I've been gay my whole life. Oh, sweetie, I've been gay my whole life. I don't know anything about boys. Mom snorted at her own joke while Ma burst into giggles. They were having a little too much fun at Elizabeth's expense. Elizabeth certainly wasn't feeling the amusement because she rolled her eyes and sat up.
Thanks.
I'm going back to my room. I'd rather melt alone. Thanks. She strode off toward the staircase, taking steps 2 at a time. Your mom stared after her, then turned to each other with raised eyebrows. Whoops, looks like we scared her off with all that romance talk.
Well,
Ah well, we'll get her next time. You watch them titter with some surprise. Obviously, your mom's like women. Really? But you had no idea that Ma liked guys too. Today was the first time you heard her say something like that. I always thought you only liked ladies. Are you really getting into this time? Ma, I always thought you liked ladies. You like guys too? What is this conversation? Ma turned to you, happy to bring you into things now that you've spoken up. She smiled and nodded. That's right, I like both. But I like your mom most out of everyone. She's special. Ma's smile turned all soft in the corners, like it usually did when she looked at her. She pinched Mom's cheek lightly. Mom reached up to cup a hand over Ma's. Even when Ma stopped pulling her cheek, hands remained clasped together.
you're fantastic.
You're fantastic! Thanks, Lonnie. I think most women have charm, but no one can hold a candle to you.
Aww.
Oh, Pamela. Ma beamed. It's cute. It's cute. Ma beamed, then kissed Mom on the cheek she'd been pinching before. You thought the moment was very sweet? Let's see, it's very sweet, yes. You smiled to yourself at the sight. No matter how often your moms expressed their feelings for each other, it was always nice to witness it. It's healthy! Ma looked back at you, letting Mom's hand go with a brief squeeze. She settled down next to you, and Mom followed soon after. You know, I'm also here to listen to you whenever you're ready. That offer isn't just for Elizabeth. In fact, I think that talk might be needed sooner for you. After all, you already have someone. Isn't that right? Mom shook her head and elbowed Mom. But it was futile. Meddler. Let's see. Blush. Blushy, blushy. Ma only giggled and smiled, not looking the least bit apologetic. There's no rush, of course. Oh, wrong one. There's no rush, of course. You can take all the time you need to figure out what or who you want.
It's okay.
Don't think you have to stick with whatever you come up with right now, either. Life's nice like that. It can change, and you can learn. Mom nodded in agreement. The two of us are happy to hear you out, and we may be able to relate to you better than you think. Still, we won't push the topic. At least most of the time. She gave Ma the weakest scathing look possible while being unable to stop grinning. Thanks. Okay. You weren't sure what to say to that. Mom let out another exaggerated sniffle. It didn't take a genius to realize it was fake. What a brat. First Mom, first Elizabeth, and now you. Do you have to grow up? Yes, children tend to do that from time to time. Your parents quickly grew absorbed in their conversation about rearing kids. You took that as your cue to leave, getting up so you could spend some time alone in your room too. They let you go without a problem, so you made your way up the stairs. You let out a sigh when you stepped into your room. It was just as sweltering in there as it was in the living room, possibly even a little warmer. You couldn't even open your window, since it was hotter outside, and you just left the AC out. You dragged your feet as you crossed the room. You checked your current sweltering condition in the mirror as you passed by it. You thought back to the conversation you had downstairs about growing up and all that. After a moment, you stepped a bit closer to the mirror, you stared into it, then turned away from the surface to look down at yourself. You definitely were growing alright. It was weird thinking about how you were now, in comparison to what you had been when you were younger. When it came to your body, at this age, I was pretty slender at that age, honestly. I don't think I was Trebs then. I was Trebs in middle school. Shifted to the side, your head still facing forward and continuing the self-evaluation from this excuse me, from this viewpoint. Okay. Assigned female, and your chest was flat now. Okay, listen. It's flat, and it's gonna stay flat forever. I'm gonna tell you this now. My mom, I remember, had a talk with me because I was really upset that my boobs were flat. And she was like, don't worry, they're gonna grow in. They're gonna grow in. You're just a late bloomer. And they're still not there. They're still not there at all. They're barely there. And yes, follow Game Crazy. If you like squirrels and you like games, follow Game Crazy. But yeah, she was like, don't worry, they're gonna grow. And I was like, they're not gonna grow. I'm just gonna sit flat forever. And every now and then, I'll be like, hey mom, I'm still waiting for puberty to happen. And she'll tell me to shut up because they're still flat. They didn't grow at all. The only times that they grow is like during my period. But that's about it. That's like my one moment of filling out an A cup. And that's about it. That's like my... That's as much as they get. That's as much. Doesn't get any better than this. Your fingers brushed over your cheeks as you stared at the freckles dusting your features. It was as if they quadrupled in the summertime with all the extra sun. You took a step backwards and finished with your impromptu inspection. You locked eyes with your reflection, cocking your head to the side. All things considered... Let's see, I thought I looked kind of... I mean... I was self-conscious. Let's see, it took you a moment to realize you were frowning at yourself. You glanced away from the mirror. You shook your head roughly, putting thoughts of what you were turning into out of your mind. This wasn't the time to focus on such things. You had to find something to do in this heat. You shuffled over to your bed, collapsing onto the mattress, your brow scrunched up in thought. Time passed slowly, and, to your annoyance, possible ideas about what to do were few and far between. You weren't sure how long it had been, but eventually you heard your mom call you from downstairs. Hibika, there's a call for you. Cove wants to come over. Is that alright? You perked up at the words, sitting up in bed. You yelled back at her immediately. Yeah! You got to your feet and headed downstairs, eager to see your friend. You needed to go downstairs soon anyway, because your empty stomach told you it was almost time for lunch. Just as you reached the bottom of the stairs, you saw Mom put the phone back on the receiver. She glanced at Ma, leaning her hip against the kitchen counter. Well, here comes trouble. We better prepare ourselves. Ma clicked her tongue and cleared disapproval of Mom's words. He's a good boy. Cove never wants to cause trouble. He can just be a bit thoughtless and impulsive. Oh, I know. He's very sweet. But that's what makes it more of a problem. If a stranger or some kid from school is egging Hibika on to behave badly, I think we can both agree that she'd do the right thing in the end. But if Cove Holden got into a reckless mood and wanted Hibika to be a part of the ride, can we really be certain of what call she'd make then? Yes, I think so. Hibika helps Cove settle down. He would have gotten himself in more trouble without her.
Thanks.
You have a point. Ma just laughed as she turned away, still snorting. Her eyes met yours. She blinked in surprise, then waved at you with an easy grin. Mom looked over, noticing you at the foot of the stairs as well. Oh, I didn't expect you to come down already. I just wanted to let you know what was happening. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I just got here. From the way Mom and Ma exchanged amused glances, you got the feeling they didn't believe you. Thankfully, they didn't correctly accuse you of lying. Sure. Well, we'll just get out of the way. You and Cove take care. You couldn't help but flush when Ma winked. Mom elbowed her, even as a smile tugged at her lips. Honestly, this lady... Your moms whispered amongst themselves as they went down the hall. Eventually, you heard the faint sound of their bedroom door shutting. Oh my god. Now you were alone in the living room, tasked waiting for Cove. And that was just fine with you. If it hadn't been so hot outside, you would have visited him at his house a long time ago. You took a seat at the kitchen counter and settled in for the wait. As expected, there was a knock on the door a few minutes later. When you got up and answered it, your neighbor was standing on the other side. He came in once you stepped inside to let him pass, giving a little wave. You greeted him as you typically did. With a wave, with a nudge to show me that what a hug goes. Because I like seeing this little boy blush. He's like a cute little puppy. He stiffened in your arms, then relaxed seconds after. One would think he'd be used to your hugs after all. I got boobs. Oh my god, that was so loud too. I nearly peed. Hey. His voice was cracked as he struggled to say something. You didn't feel worried about that. It was how he usually reacted when you were close by. Cove sighed and wiped at his face a bit. You noted the sheen of You noted the sheen of sweat across his brow. He must be glad to be back in the air-conditioned place, even if he only had to walk across the street to get there. Is something going on? Why did you want to come over? I don't want to do anything. Not when it's like this. He gestured vaguely to the humid air hanging around. I thought I could at least do nothing with you. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. That's really sweet. It's so sweet. I was planning on doing nothing too, and you want to do nothing together? You want to do nothing together with me? With me? His words were nice and expressed real fondness for you in a strange sort of way, which was usually the case with Cove. Have you had lunch yet? I was gonna do it soon. He shook his head. I haven't really felt like eating because of the heat. That's so real. That's such a real feeling. Oh, God.
And then I have to drink more water.
Oh, yes, exactly. The only thing I want to have is water when it's hot outside. Oh, my water bottle is all the way over here. Snooey! Snooey! How are you doing? I'm glad to see ya. But yeah, not eating because of the heat's so real. The only thing I can really stomach is water and fruit. I probably should have lunch. I didn't have breakfast this morning. Yeah, I get that time. Yeah, great. We can eat lunch together. Okay, cool. As one, you headed to the kitchen. You crossed your arms as you glanced around, wondering what you should scrounge up for a meal. I don't want to eat anything that's warmed up. Is there something cold or not cooked? Yeah. After a bit of back and forth, the two of you concluded that you should raid the fridge and cabinet in order to make sandwiches. With that settled, you had planned to decide. On the outside layers first, there was a wide variety to choose from, since everyone in your house had their own favorites. There was white bread, wheat bread, sourdough, mixed grains, gluten-free bread, and pita pockets. I love pita pockets. Hey, could you take the grain one for me? Sure. You reached for the mixed grains, then made your decision. Pita pockets or sourdough? I gotta have sourdough. I love sourdough bread. You pulled out sourdough too. You just realized you need to get up extra early because it's supposed to snow. Aww. Does that mean you have to go soon? Well, make sure you get a lot of sleep. You don't want to drive drowsy, especially not in the snow. That's for sure. Nah? No? You'll be fine. Okay. As long as you get plenty of sleep light, okay, honey? You pulled out the sourdough, setting both items onto the counter. Then you had to decide what main direction the sandwich would go in. I want to... truly savory. Something savory sounds good. Something savory would make it feel like a real meal. As for the specific ingredients... Oh my goodness. Oh, look at all the choices. Oh, it's only $6.45. I forgot you're like on the other side of the states. Ham slices, turkey slices, tofu, egg salad, which is gross. Let's see, red onions, mozzarella, pepper jack cheese, cheddar cheese, pickles, peppers, avocado. I want tomatoes, mozzarella, peppers, let's see, peppers, lettuce, you know, I think I'll forgo the meat on this one and do like a caprese kind of sandwich. Yeah. Actually, we'll have some turkey on there too. Then we moved on to condiments. Topped the sandwich with pesto, and that was everything. Yes, that's all it needs. You nodded to yourself with a quiet hum.
And then I have to drink more water.
And then you had to drink more water to top it off, because this was about to be one salty sandwich. Alright. The two of you bustled around the kitchen, opening and closing things in order to collect everything you needed for your individual sandwiches. You focused intently on assembling your own, for the most part. When you were close to being done, though, you glanced over at your neighbor. Cove was putting his sandwich together delicately, his brow furrowed and tongue sticking out just barely. There were open jars of peanut butter and honey near his plate, as well as a banana peel. He's making a peanut butter, honey, and banana sandwich! That sounds great! Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. Maybe you had made one yourself at a different time. Curiously satiated, you turned back to your plate and finished your own creation. By the time you were done, Cove had already cleaned up his workstation. He turned to face you, studying your sandwich briefly. A small smile tugged at the corners of his mouth. You guessed it didn't look inedible to him in the least. Done? Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah. Ariana Grande. He waited as you quickly returned to the ingredients and cleaned a few utensils. Then the two of you collected your respective plates. You both... why can't I read? You both agreed on heading upstairs to hang out in your room. You and Cove entered your bedroom while balancing your food on the plates. Nothing fell, so it was a successful trip. Cove took a seat on the ground, stretching out on the hardwood floor in an attempt to keep a bit cooler. He immediately took a big bite of his sandwich, chewed, and then hummed happily. This sandwich is really good. At least that's something. At this point, you sat down and started on your own sandwich. Yay! Obviously, you're a pro at making sandwiches. He leaned back on his hands while chewing and glanced around. His every movement was sluggish. Want to do something? It seemed the plan of not doing anything at all had already worn thin, despite his lack of enthusiasm. Let's see. Yeah. He rolled his head back, looking up at the ceiling. What about Hangman? Let's see. Yeah, let's laugh at it. You put your plate to the side and pulled out some markers and scrap of paper. As you laid everything on the floor, he scooted back to make more room in front of you. Cove picked up one of the markers with his right hand, while keeping a half a slice of the sandwich in his left.
That's,
Can I pick the phrase? Go ahead, I don't mind. He smiled briefly, before he bent over the paper and began sketching the hangman frame. Then he stopped, pursing his lips in thought. He tapped the end of his marker against his cheek. You watched silently as Cove looked down at the paper, up at your face, and then off to the side in a loop. His marker kept tapping his cheek the entire time. You raised an eyebrow. He suggested the game and wanted to pick the phrase, but it looked like he didn't actually have anything in mind for it. Finally, he put empty lines on the paper to signify spots for letters. Alright, you can start guessing. He peered over. His secret phrase consisted of 3 words. The first 2 had 3 letters, and the last had 4. You thought hard about what your first guess would be. Enter 1 letter of the alphabet. Ooh, so interactive. Let's see. Well, I usually do A first. I got one. After the first round, you were about to take another bite of your sandwich when a thought occurred to you. I wonder if anyone turned off the TV downstairs. The TV. It was on earlier, but no one was really watching. Then everyone started leaving the living room. I know I didn't turn it off. It might still be on downstairs with no one there. Cove smiled crookedly at that. He loves a girl that's knowledgeable about her electricity expenditure. Poor show. Playing with no one around to enjoy it. What was it? You squinted off to the middle distance, trying to recall the show's name. I feel like it was some kind of crime-solving drama. Cove nodded sleepily, his eyes closed and opened again with some effort. Can you give any specifics? Maybe I can guess it. Well... You rested your chin on your open palm, groggily thinking hard as you could. I remember there was a woman with long, blonde hair, I think. She was the one solving crimes. Like, as a detective or something. There were scenes in a police station, because someone got arrested. You lapsed into silence, the both of you thoughtful, then Cove chuckled. It wasn't that funny, but you joined into the laughter anyway.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Oh, gee, thanks. Me neither, and I just saw it. What the fuck? Okay, P. Yes! Good guess. So... Let's see, W? Oh, okay, I have to... Another round came and went, and then... Why can't I just guess it? I feel so sticky, like I'm gonna be stuck to the floor forever now. I'll have to charge you rent then. You can be my new roomie if you want. I'll have to charge you rent. Yeah, how much? $50.
What?
I can't afford that. Well, you gotta pay up if you want to stick around. Ko shook his head at your terrible pun and went back to the game instead of answering further. Alright. What about... C? Ooh, I'm on a roll, chat. I'm on a roll. I'm the best Hangman player ever. Yep, that's right. Cove spoke up once more, catching your attention. He was peering down at the piece of paper between you. This is the most intense game of Hangman I've ever played in my life. You know, Hangman's kind of a creepy game. Why did people come up with it? Why did they play it? You know, the person who recommended to me this game used to work at a camp with kids. And Hangman wasn't allowed because it alluded to, you know, suicide. So instead they played, what was it? I think it was like Spaceman or something. Where he was like... Instead, they drew something else where he was like gonna fly up into space like a rocket ship or something. Let's see, maybe it's why they instead had real court trials. Cove raised a skeptical brow. You bit back a laugh in feigned seriousness. If you got it right, then you were innocent, and they let you go, but if not, they killed you! He shuddered at your eerie explanation before rejecting it outright. That's terrible and not real. Really. I feel like that would be ridiculous, even for the old-timies. You chuckled to yourself and went back to the creepy game. H? 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 No! My first little addition to the little person! No! No, should we go downstairs to get some drinks? Oh god, I don't want to get up. Me neither. You looked over at him, narrowing your eyes with false suspicion. But hey, what happened to you not being able to get up ever again? Because you were stuck to the floor? That's still true. I mean, we're not actually going, are we? I only thought about it. You rolled your eyes and dropped the issue defeated. Cove grinned a little at your disappointment over his victory. Okay. R? Maybe I should try an O. Another vowel. Ooh. So... 4? Hour? No. That starts with an O. F. No! Oh no. At. C. A, E, I. Have I tried I yet? No! A, E, I, O, U. I haven't tried U. So we'll try all the vowels. Okay, there we go, there we go. Let's see. U, R. Is it cute? Is he oh my god, is he calling me cute? Is it R? Oh my god, I swear to god, if it's even cute, I'm gonna squee. That is too cute. That is too precious. It is, yeah. Yeah. Y. Definitely gonna get it. E? Aww. Aww. You are cute. That was the phrase that Cove has spent so long settling on. You stared at it. A few correct letters in, and you had a feeling you knew what the phrase was. Still, you felt butterflies in your stomach at seeing it. Clear as day on the paper. You took in the words for a moment longer. Then you looked up at Cove. Aww. Little puppy boy. So cute. So cute. So precious. Protect smile always. So cute. He had trouble meeting your shocked gaze, a smile settling awkward on his lips. His next words left him in a mumble. It was all I could think of at the time. Let's see. Goodness. 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 My. Suddenly you had trouble meeting his eyes too. Your hands came up to hide your flushed features from his sight. No, you damn Cove. Cove smiled a bit more, clearly still feeling awkward about the move he pulled. He turned away from you, his cheeks tinted pink. A moment passed between the two of you. Now would be the perfect time to change the subject, but you didn't, and he didn't either. Things started feeling a bit more personal all of a sudden. You looked into Cove's ocean eyes and saw yourself staring back. Cute! You really think I'm cute? Do you think I'm cute? Cove didn't crack a smile or tell you he was joking. He just firmly kept his gaze. Yeah. Finally, he broke eye contact. I've heard at some point you're supposed to start liking types of people. Guys or girls or whatever. I haven't really noticed that yet. Nothing's changed. Not in a big way. Not for everybody. Maybe I have to grow up more, but at least with... You waited, but he trailed off. He wasn't going to keep talking. You frowned, a little disappointed. You wished that he had continued with what he was saying. You shook off the strangeness of the situation and tried to be supportive. Maybe you just don't like anybody. Or maybe you like all types of people. That's normal too. Cove seemed to appreciate that thought, if the smile appeared on his lips was any indication. But the expression was quick to disappear. He peered over at you, looking nervous. Okay. What about you? What kind of guy or person do you like? He winced and seemed to be mentally kicking himself for saying it like that. You considered his question carefully. Did you know who or what you liked? Physical attraction. Didn't really have physical interest. Didn't think you could. There's only one person you'd ever had those kind of feelings for. Let's see. Let's see, we'll save this one. Let's see, you were starting to have romantic attraction in a general way. We'll just say specific. Specifically when it came how you felt toward boys. You found them attractive, you thought you could be happy with a guy someday. Found them attractive. Physically interested, but you'd be happy to have a romantic... Let's see. Gently, Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I'm open. And how you feel toward girls. Found them attractive, abso-fucking-lutely. What is special exceptions? You weren't physically For people who aren't exclusively male or female, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pan, so I am pretty much everything. I cover all the bases. You returned your attention to Cove. He was waiting patiently for your response. You explained how you felt to Cove, and you'd rather not talk about it. Yeah. He listened intently, taking in every word as you tried to convey how you felt. He definitely perked up a bit when you mentioned having interest in romantic relationships. Very much so. Then he scratched the back of his head, sheepish. I'm not really sure how we ended up talking about all this. When we started out, you told me I was cute. That was clearly flirtatious, and you said I was cute. So, I'm just saying. But it was good, I think. I think so too. Cove chuckled a little bashfully. He glanced around, clearly scrambling for something else to say. So, have you done anything new lately? Yeah, actually. I'm glad you brought it up. The conversation took a lighter turn after that, and it felt like you got closer that afternoon. Finally, the blazing sun began to set. To your relief, the air cooled down a bit as a result. You pulled yourself off the floor, as did Cove, with some minor complaint. You both stretched your arms, groaning, and yawned into your hands. You glanced out your window briefly, taking in the soft reds, pinks, and purples of the late afternoon sky. Somehow, you had made it through the scorching hot day in one piece. Cove turned toward you, motioning toward your window with his chin. Wanna go outside? Might be better out there than it is now. Sounds good. I could use some fresh air. The two of you took your time heading downstairs. You stopped briefly to grab a drink of water, then continued on your way. You stepped outside, one after the other, your destination being the familiar hills behind your house. This time of day, it was quiet outside. The flowers blew gently in the wind, petals trembling, but stubbornly hanging in there. You felt the breeze cool your heated skin, and you relaxed your shoulders. Cove closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath. I really love it out here. Oh, yeah, that one. Cove chuckled, not even attempting to deny your words. A beat passed, but his gaze didn't stray from your own. His voice was impossibly soft when he spoke up again. I'm glad I met you. You're really important to me, you know. Let's see. Did we just come out and say it? Blush? I feel the same. That's very direct. I don't know if I want to be that direct right now. Your voice came out equally delicate. From the way his features brightened, though, you knew he heard you. Then Cove reached over and held your hand without another word. Even as the sun disappeared completely and the sky darkened, you and Cove remained side by side for as long as you possibly could.
And then I have to drink more water.
And then I have to drink more water. Ah, yes. Oh boy. Oh boy! You know... Oh. Ooh. And that was growing. That was a long one. This chapter is very long. Very, very long. Let me go ahead and save. I think I'll just save in the same spot. Ugh, excuse me. Alright. Let's return to the menu because I think... hello? Interesting. Well, I was planning on ending it here, actually. So, now... Wow, okay, for some reason, it decided to, not really... Why is it there? Why is it there and not... Okay, I guess I'm just gonna do this then. Because it's a separate window for some reason. Just has to be a separate window. But yes, that is our life. I will conclude it here. I do hope everyone enjoyed the reading, and thank you so much for tuning in. I am honored to be your background noise, so thank you all of you that commented, that are lurking. If you liked the vibe, please subscribe or follow or buy me a coffee or something if you're feeling a little flirty. Any donations go directly toward the stream. Now don't forget that you can also join the Discord using either links on my Twitch or YouTube channel. But if you're feeling a little lazy, I'm happy to write that up for you right there. There you go. You can join my happy little hotel. Okay, now I'm going to set up the raid messages now because I do plan on raiding out. I'm so happy you enjoyed the stream, Light. I hope you have a wonderful sleep and a good day at work tomorrow, okay? And do be careful in that snow, it can be deadly. And I hope you make it to work safe and back home again. Alright, so let's see who's available for a raid, shall we? Let's see. Let us see. Oh. Let's see, you know what? I haven't raided a Singera in such a long time. So, we're going to do them this time. Alright. You slid around in the snow before. Toodles! And be safe. Remember, be safe. Alright, guys. As for the raid, stick around if you wish. But if not, I wish you all a good night. Sleep tight. And remember, tomorrow is another day. Nang kudanai sa. I'll see you next time.